All right, guys. This is the Pitchfork Podcast for January 3rd, 2021. Guys, it's a new year. Fortunately, it's not going to be a new year, new me post. It's going to be just a new year post for me. All right, guys. With that being said, if you guys like the show, hit the like button, hit the share button, let people know that I run the show. With that being said, guys, we're going to get into news stories pretty soon, but a little bit of housekeeping. Guys, with that being said, the number to call in is 253-203-6784. Again, the number to call in is 253-203-6784. We run a quick burst show here so that you can consume the news on your way home, and also while you're at work, while you are bored, while you are not being entertained. I want to entertain you and also give you the news from my perspective. Now, I'm going to be going over news from Fox, from Newsmax, from MSNBC, from CNN. We're going to be going over several different news sources, and the reason why I do that is because I want you guys to go over news sources, the news the exact same way that I do, in that I take from different sources, and I don't just pick one source to reach a conclusion. I take both sources, I let it rattle around in my head a little bit, and then I come to my conclusion. With that being said, again, the number to call in is 253-203-6784. Now we're going to get right into the news stories, guys. Right into news stories. All right, first news story is going to be from Newsmax. It's going to be from Newsmax, guys. As the thumbnail suggested, MAGA is at it again, Trump is at it again, and they're at it again trying to steal an election. Now, with that being said, you cannot agree. That's totally fine. But with that being said, if you don't agree, guys, call in. Don't be so cowardly. Don't run from me. You know, I'm not gonna bite you. I'm not gonna just destroy you or just eviscerate you. But I'm gonna give you a link to the story. That way you can just follow along as I go along in the story. All right. So let me post that in the chat right now. You guys have the story. It's be posted in the chat pretty soon. All right. So let's get into the story. By the way, you should hear some background noise. That is my doggo. He is a 135-pound pit bull. He is a very, very nice boy, though. But anyways, let's get into the story. It's from Newsmax. All right. So it says here, Trump to attend January 6th protests during electoral objection. All right. This is by Eric Mack, released on January 3rd, Sunday, which is today. And by the way, happy belated New Year. As the joint session of Congress hears the House and Senate Electoral College objections Wednesday, thousands of revelers will be in Washington, D.C., protesting voter and election fraud, and President Donald Trump vows to be there for it. Trump tweeted Sunday in response to the Stop the Steal rally, "I will be there, historic day." Groups of Republicans in the House and Senate are planning to voice objections to the Electoral College, which sets up a debate in both chambers on whether to certify the election results for Joe Biden. The planned protests will be objecting to the Trump campaign allegations of voter fraud, of voter and election fraud, including Democrat-led pushes circumventing states' election laws with rush mass mail-in ballots. Demonstrations are planned at the Washington Monument, the Freedom Plaza, and the Capitol. The White Ring group Proud Boys has vowed to be in the crowd to protect against violent, destructive, and leftist counter-protesters that roiled America during the presidential election year, CNBC reported. I'm going to give you a link to that CNBC piece that they provided there. That way you can read for yourself. All right. Let's get back to the stories here. That's it for that article. We're going to move on here. All right, this story is from Newsmax as well. Senator Graham calls Cruz objection a political dodge. Written by Eric Mack of Newsmax, released on January 3rd, Sunday, which is today. Happy belated New Year. While Senator Ted Cruz, Republican from Texas, has been taking flack for his plans for an electoral college objection from Democrats and never Trumpers, Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican from South Carolina, considers it mere lip service. Senator Cruz is leading 11 GOP senators in calling for a commission to investigate the Trump campaign's voter and election fraud allegations to protect the integrity to American elections. Too little, too late, Graham tweeted Sunday. Proposing a commission at this late date which has zero chance of becoming reality, is not effectively fighting for President Trump. It appears to be more of a political dodge than an effective remedy. Despite that, Graham added he is looking forward to hearing their charges, adding via tweet, "I do look forward to hearing from and will listen closely to the objections of my colleagues in challenging the results of this election. They will need to provide proof of the charges they are making." Continuing, "They will also need to provide clear and convincing evidence that the failure to act in both the state and federal courts and the state's legislators which investigated these claims was made in error." Still, Graham questions what remedy can fix the fraud that occurred at this point, tweeting, They will also need to show they will also need to show that the failure to take corrective action in addressing election fraud changed the outcome of the state's votes and ultimately the outcome of the election. Ultimately, Graham will listen, but he remains skeptical. He concluded on Twitter via saying, "My colleagues will have the opportunity to make this clear, and I will listen closely, but they will have a high bar to clear." It all comes to a head January 6th during a joint session of Congress to receive, count, and vote to certify the Electoral College vote. All right, guys. So we're going to move and breeze and do next stories. All right, I gave you guys a link to that story. Hopefully, you guys have a link to that story. Let me check to make sure you guys have a link to that story. No, you don't have a link to that. Let me go ahead and provide that for you. That way you can have that for yourself. It's going to be a live chat replay. All right. There you go there. The link should be in the chat. Take a sip of my drink here. All right, so let's move on here. All right, so this is from Newsmax here. Christie, electoral objections not unusual, go nowhere. So this right here is from coming from Chris Christie, the old Michelin man himself. All right. Written by Eric Matt, released on January 3rd, which is today. Happy belated New Year. Congress has often featured partisan objections to the certification of electoral college votes in American history, but they end in failure, according to former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. It's not unusual for politicians in Congress to play politics, and that's what's going on, Christie told ABC's This Week, noting Democrats objected in 2016 and 2004 in the past two GOP presidential victories they did not agree with. Christie, a former transition official for President Donald Trump, has been very critical of the president since joining ABC as a paid analyst. He repeated his off-held mantra, siding with Democrats and the mainstream media, saying that the voter fraud just is not widespread. The objections, like the Democrats' in the past presidential elections, will be raised and fall without issue. The reason it will go nowhere is because there's been no evidence of widespread fraud, Christie said in a panel discussion, and that been determined by Republican and Democratic governors across the country. It's been determined, most importantly, by the Attorney General of the United States, Bill Barr. Christie remains the status quo on U.S. elections. Christie maintains that the status quo on U.S. elections will prevail. What matters the most and what makes us the most vibrant democracy in the world is that it will be confirmed in a bipartisan fashion on next week by both the House and Senate, by both Republicans and Democrats, he added. Senator Ted Cruz, Republican from Texas, is leading 11 Senate Republicans in posing an objection to the quick certification of the Electoral College results, seeking an audit of the election results and a congressional inquiry into the Trump campaign's allegations of a rigged election. All right, guys, make sure you hit the like button, hit the share button, let people know that I run this content. If you want to call in, number to call in is 253-203-6784. Again, the number to call in is 253-203-6784. All right, guys. So we went to Newsmax, and now we're gonna go shift leftward to CNN. All right. So Washington Post in call: Trump demands Georgia officials find votes to tilt election. Oh my God! Trump's trying to get people to cheat. I see. Let me go ahead and get this right here. This link right there. Post that in the chat. That way you guys can have that. All right. So Washington Post in call: Trump demands Georgia officials find votes to tilt election. Let me go ahead. And by the way, right now, the House of Representatives is voting on its next speaker. So that's a developing story. All right. President Donald Trump pushed Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger to find votes to overturn the election results after his loss to President-elect Joe Biden, according to an audio recording of a phone call obtained by the Washington Post. Now, we're going to go over that call. All right, we're going to go over that call. In fact, why do that when we could just go straight to the Washington Post? Here we go. We're going to bounce around a little bit. We're going to jump back to that CNN piece. But we're going to come here. This is from the Washington Post. I just want to find 11,780 votes. In extraordinary hour-long call, Trump pressures Georgia Secretary of State to recalculate the vote in his favor. Oh my God! We're gonna play that audio. I'm gonna mute myself but play this audio. Let's go ahead and play it.
We have won this election in Georgia based on all of this, and there's nothing wrong with saying that, Brad. You know, I mean, having a correct. The people of Georgia are angry. And these numbers are going to be repeated on Monday night, along with others that we're going to have by that time, which are much more substantial even. And the people of Georgia are angry. The people of the country are angry. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, you know, that you've recalculated.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong.
Now, do you think it's possible that they shredded ballots in Fulton County? Because that's what the rumor is. And also that Dominion took out machines. That Dominion is really moving fast to get rid of their machinery. Do you know anything about that? Because that's illegal.
This is Ryan, Germany. No, Dominion has not moved any machinery out of Fulton County. We're having.
Well, but have they moved? Have they moved the inner parts of the machines and replaced them with other parts?
No.
You sure, Ryan?
I'm sure.
You should want to have an accurate election. And you're a Republican.
We believe that we do have an accurate election.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have. Not even close. You're off by hundreds of thousands of votes. You know what they did, and you're not reporting it. That's a criminal offense, and you can't let that happen. That's a big risk to you and to Ryan, your lawyer. That's a big risk. But they are shredding ballots, in my opinion, based on what I've heard, and they are removing machinery, and they're moving it as fast as they can. Both of which are criminal fines, and you can't let it happen, and you are letting it happen. I'm notifying you that you're letting it happen. So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state. So tell me, Brad, what are we going to do? We won the election, and it's not fair to take it away from us like this. And it's going to be very costly in many ways. And I think you have to say that you're going to re-examine it, and you can re-examine it, but re-examine it with people. And it's going to be very costly, and it's not fair to take it away. So tell me, Brad, what are we going to do? We won the election, and it's not fair to take it away from us. What I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,000, I'm notifying you that you're letting it happen. So, look.
Interesting. I'm going to play one more part. I'm going to play one part for you. And I want you to hear this part. I want to hear this part.
Look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
Oh my God! So what is he trying to say there? He says he just wants to find those votes. Do you know what he's implying there? I mean, come on now. Are we gonna sit here and really pretend like we don't know what he's implying there? He's not saying. Tell me, do you know what President Trump was implying? Tell me, what do you think he was implying? Tell me in the chat. What do you think President Trump was implying there? No. Let me know in the chat what you think he was implying. I'm going to play that one more time. One more again.
You that you're letting it happen. So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes on what I've heard, and they are removing machinery,
Play some more.
and they're moving it as fast as they can, both of which are criminal fines, and you can't let it happen, and you are letting it happen. I'm notifying you that you're letting it happen. So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
Interesting. So you just want to find them. You're not saying if those allegations are factual or not. You just want to find them, huh? Yeah, I guess you want to find them because you were just looking. You're just a happy camper out there, huh? You're just a real peeky peeper there, huh? A real peepy peeper there, huh? Interesting. So tell me, President Trump, how did you plan on finding those? By any means necessary. How are those gonna be discovered? Who's gonna be looking at those, huh? I'm just curious. I'm asking because the people want to know. The peoples, we want to know. What exactly? Thank you, Cosmic Chaos. I agree, Cosmic. But let's allow others to voice their concerns and even call in their concerns. Again, I'm going to leave the number to call in. It's going to be 253-203-6784. The number is going to be posted in the chat so you guys can call me in. If you guys don't agree with me, if you don't agree with my assessment, if you think that I'm full of it, what do you think President Trump meant by he just wanted to find the votes? I'm going to play that one more again for you because I just want people to hear it. It just sounds so beautiful. I'm going to mute myself and then play one more time for you.
Happen. I'm notifying you that you're letting it happen. So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state. So tell me, Brad, what are we going to do?
Oh my God. What do you think he meant by that? What do you think President Donnie J. Trump meant by that, huh? What do you think old Cheeto Palpatine meant by that, huh? I agree with you, Cosmic. I agree with you, Cosmic. Amen, brother. Amen, brother. I agree with you, Cosmic. Amen, brother. Amen. But I want to know from everybody else who was watching, and I want you to share this stream with your Trump supporting friends. I want them to hear what their Cheeto Palpatine just said. I want them to hear what their Cheeto Palpatine just uttered. I want them to hear how their Cheeto Palpatine plan on stealing an election. And not only plan on stealing an election, but then came after the fact, after he lost the state of Georgia, which a Republican using the state of Georgia is very, very much embarrassing. Oh my God, it is very much embarrassing. Oh my God, you don't want to lose Georgia as a freaking Republican. I mean, that's almost as bad as being John McCain losing against the first black guy. Oh my God. Okay, so I need for you, somebody to explain to me. But by the way, guys, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's Dev's Advocate on the screen, right over there, right over yonder. Okay, all right. Fuse Painter 86. I am that on Twitch. By the way, Twitch crowd, I love you. I'm gonna be doing some more gaming a little bit later for the Twitch crowd. Also, I am Devil's Advocate on YouTube. I'm streaming on 6 different platforms all at once right now. I am on Facebook. I am on Trovo. I am on Twitter. I am on Twitch. I am on YouTube. I am on D Live. I am everywhere right now. So let's move on with the news stories. All right, I gave you a link to that. Let me give you post a link in the chat to that one more time, so you have a link to that audio recording. That way you can hear Donald J. Trumpy in his full glory. That way you can hear him in his full glory. Let me make sure. Let me refresh this real quick. By the way, the number to call in is 253-203-6784. Again, the number to call in is 253-203-6784. I'm going to be posting that link in the chat right there, guys. The link to that audio recording is right there in the chat for you. That way you can have it. You can go over. You can listen to yourself. You can say, hey, you're full of it. Or you can say, hey, you know what? This sounds like some pretty interesting. Oh, my God. Material. Oh, my God. All right. So let's go back here. President Donald Trump pushed Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger to find votes to overturn the election results after his loss to President-elect Joe Biden, according to an audio recording of a phone call obtained by the Washington Post. In excerpts of the stunning one-hour phone call Saturday, Trump lambasted his fellow Republican for refusing to falsely say that he won the election in Georgia and repeatedly touted baseless claims of election fraud. The people of Georgia are angry. The people in the country are angry, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. You know that you've recalculated, Trump said in one excerpt of the call. Raffensperger responded, "Well, Mr. President, the challenge you have is the data you have is wrong." Oh my God! Let's move on here. In another excerpt, Trump said, "So look, all I want to do is I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have because we won the state." The White House and Trump campaign and White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows did not immediately respond to requests for comment by the Post. The White House declined to comment to CNN. CNN has reached out to Raffensperger. The Post report was published several hours after Trump said on Twitter that he had spoken to Raffensperger on the phone in an attempt to convince him to look into unfounded conspiracy theories about the vote in November. According to Trump, Raffensperger refused to do so. In response, Raffensperger cryptically delivered a strong message to the president on Sunday. "Respectfully, President Trump, what you're saying is not true. The truth will come out," the tweet read. Let me go ahead and get you a link to that tweet right there because it's hyperlinked. Yeah, it's on Twitter. Good. That way you guys can have all this. Oh my God. This is a juicy story. Juicy. And we can't even say juicy if true because we know it's true. Oh my God. We know it's true. Oh my God. In fact, we're going to post that audio recording again. We're going to play that audio recording one more again. We're going to play, make sure you hit the like button, hit share button, guys. We're going to play an audio recording of President Trump that was just released yesterday by the Washington Post. And it is a doozy. It's a bombshell. Oh my God. It is a bombshell. It is juicy. It is spicy. All right. Son. It's spicy, son.
We have won this election in Georgia based on all of this. Oh. Now, do you think it's
Ryan joining the neighborhood?
But and replace want to have an act? You don't. That's a big risk. Ballots in my and they're moving it as fines, and you're letting it happen. Fine. I'm notifying you that you're letting no fines and.
So, oh my God, you're about to hear something juicy. Okay, we're gonna play this one more time. We're going to play this one more again. Oh, my God. We're going to play this one more again. Let me mute myself.
You can't let it happen, and you are letting it happen. I'm notifying you that you're letting it happen. So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm no preacher. I'm no prophet. I'm not the Ayatollah. I am not a cleric. I'm not a sheikh. I'm not a sheikh of state. I am not the Buddha. But however, I did say this is going to happen. Because see, when you are a spoiled billionaire who's not used to being told no, well, here's what happens. You then buy influence to convince other people that you're right. And that's why you have these people who follow the MAGA crowd, who are in the tens of thousands and sometimes in the millions, depending on where you go, who all support this man, despite the fact that he's a multi-billionaire. He has them convinced that he is on their side, that he is their boo. He has them convinced that he can do no wrong. And yet, for some reason, these are the same people who tell me all the time to never trust politicians. Now, that's a very, very peculiar position to be in because, even though this man has been a politician now for years, suddenly they want to try to convince me that he's still not a politician, even though by literal job definition, he's the fucking president, which means he's a politician. But suddenly I can trust politicians and I can trust presidents. These people, right? These are the same people. And you'll notice this. They belong to typically the exact same crowds. You find them, they go to churches a lot. And there's nothing wrong with churchgoers, but there's a certain particular type of churchgoer who just believes anything a pastor says, no matter if the pastor is a good person or if the pastor is a mega church preacher who is wearing 10,000 golden plated diamond watches. Those people who are the blind followers who follow no matter what happens, follow under all circumstances, under by any means necessary. They will follow. They will ride that dick until the dick can't be ridden any further. Those people, the people who claim to catch the Holy Ghost just so they can sleep with the pastor, the people who Bible thump, even though it's the same chicks who Bible thump, they are busy sucking penis before church to make their rent money, but they want to Bible thump to tell you how we can live. Those people. Those are the people that I'm talking about. You notice that there's a parallel. A lot of the same people who are pushing these conspiracy theories are also from that same crowd. And it's not just the women that I'm talking about. It's also some of the men who are so gullible, who are honestly worse than some of the church-going chicks, because some of the most gullible men. I'm gonna say it. There is nothing worse than a gullible ass man. I mean, women get a pass because I respect women enough, whereas men can be very manipulative. I get that about men, right? But a man who is easily led. See, I count that as automatically worse than a woman who is easily led, because it is a man's job to not be easily led. That's one of your primary functions as a fucking man. And the fact that you got people right now who's gonna show up to this stream, who's gonna show up to my channel, who's gonna call in that number, who's gonna tweet out at me, who's gonna get at me on social media, who's gonna at me, right? The fact that you got so many people who still blindly follow this man, like a bunch of goddamn dummies. Like Fred Semper said, a bunch of damn dummies. A bunch of dumb delooms. A bunch of smucks. Jackasses. Jacks of asses. The fact that you still have people out there who are so willing to believe that I, a man with no power, a man who just writes articles and makes videos, is somehow against them versus a multi-billionaire. The fact that you have people out there like that, it not only makes me sad, it not only concerns me, but it makes me wonder about the future. Where are we headed when there are people out there who not only seem to actually believe that the revolution will be televised, but that it will be televised by a multi-billionaire who's a reality TV star? That's going to be their revolution. The guy who supports the police state. The guy who didn't even legalize weed. That's the guy who's going to, televise the revolution. The fact that we have people in this country who is that fucking delusional, if that doesn't scare you, I'm not quite sure what will scare you. I'm not quite sure what it will take to make you shudder. I mean, I'm gonna play that again. I want you guys to hear that one more time, because I just, I'm gonna let the rest of it play. I'm gonna replay the whole thing, man. I'm gonna replay the whole thing. I want you guys to hear the whole thing in its freaking entirety, because this is just exceptional. I'm gonna let this whole thing play again, and I'm gonna take a little break in between, and for like 4 minutes, and I'm gonna be right back in under 5 minutes. So it's only like a 4 minute and 32 second clip. So I'm gonna go ahead and just let it play.
We have won this election in Georgia based on all of this, and there's nothing wrong with saying that, Brad. I mean, having a correct. The people of Georgia are angry, and these numbers are going to be repeated on Monday night, along with others that we're going to have by that time, which are much more substantial even. And the people of Georgia are angry. The people of the country are angry, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. That you've recalculated.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong.
Now, do you think it's possible that they shredded ballots in Fulton County? Because that's what the rumor is. And also that Dominion took out machines. That Dominion is really moving fast to get rid of their machinery. Do you know anything about that? Because that's illegal.
This is Ryan, Germany. No, Dominion is not moved any machinery out of Fulton County. We're having.
Well, but have they moved? Have they moved the inner parts of the machines and replaced them with other parts?
No.
You sure, Ryan?
I'm sure.
You should want to have an accurate election. And you're a Republican.
We believe that we do have an accurate election.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have. Not even close. You're off by hundreds of thousands of votes. You know what they did, and you're not reporting it. That's a criminal offense. And you can't let that happen. That's a big risk to you and to Ryan, your lawyer. That's a big risk. But they are shredding ballots, in my opinion, based on what I've heard, and they are removing machinery, and they're moving it as fast as they can, both of which are criminal fines, and you can't let it happen, and you are letting it happen. I'm notifying you that you're letting it happen. So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state. So tell me, Brad, what are we going to do? We won the election, and it's not fair to take it away from us like this. And it's going to be very costly in many ways. And I think you have to say that you're going to re-examine it, and you can re-examine it, but re-examine it with people that want to find answers, not people that don't want to find answers. For instance, I'm hearing Ryan, and he's probably, I'm sure, a great lawyer and everything, but he's making statements about those ballots that he doesn't know. But he's making them with he did make them with surety, but now I think he's less sure, because the answer is they all went to Biden. And that alone wins us the election by a lot. So.
Mr. President, you have people that submit information, and we have our people that submit information, and then it comes before the court, and the court then has to make a determination. We have to stand by our numbers. We believe our numbers are right.
Well, under law, you're not allowed to give faulty election results, okay? You're not allowed to do that, and that's what you've done. This is a faulty election result. And honestly, this should go very fast. You should meet tomorrow, because you have a big election coming up, and because of what you've done to the president, the people of Georgia know that this was a scam. And because of what you've done to the president, a lot of people aren't going out to vote. And a lot of Republicans are going to vote negative because they hate what you did to the president, okay? They hate it. And they're going to vote. And if you would be respected, if this thing could be straightened out before the election. You have a big election coming up on Tuesday.
There was something that was just said there. I want you to hear something again. I want you to notice how he's doing the WWE talk, right? Where he's referring to himself in the third person. I want you to listen to this, right? Because it's almost crazy the way this man's talking. It's like he's talking in third person. Play it one more time for you.
Faulty election result. And honestly, this should go very fast. You should meet tomorrow, because you have a big election coming up, and because of what you've done to the president, the people of Georgia know that this was a scam. And because of what you've done to the president, a lot of people aren't going out to vote. And a lot of Republicans are going to vote negative because they hate what you did to the president.
You hearing this? Like it's almost like he's referring to himself in the freaking third person. Like he's a freaking WWE wrestler, almost. Like I'm play it for you one more time. And I want you to notice how he's not talking about himself, like what you've done to me, or what you're doing to me, or of how you stolen this election from me, right? Notice how he's referring to himself in the freaking third person on a phone call. It's so weird, man. God damn, it's so fucking weird, man. I gotta be honest with you. I'm gonna play it one more time for you. It's just so weird, bro.
And honestly, this should go very fast. You should meet tomorrow because you have a big election coming up. And because of what you've done to the president, you know, the people of Georgia know that this was a scam. And because of what you've done to the president, a lot of people aren't going out to vote. And a lot of Republicans are going to vote negative because they hate what you did to the president.
I mean, are you hearing that? That is just bizarre, bro. That's fucking bizarre, bro. Like, not only is this man trying to convince, you know, Brad Raffensperger, the Georgia Secretary of State, to help him steal the damn election, but he's talking about himself in the third person, like a freaking macho man, Randy Savage, you know. Like I mean, it wouldn't shock me at some point if he would just go, hey brother, what you gonna do when election fraud runs wild on you, brother, you know? Like seriously, like you know, Trump should have been like, hey, what do you think about this election fraud thing? And then as soon as Brad tried to speak, be like, it doesn't matter what you think about election fraud. Like, bro, that was so fucking weird. Like, I've never seen anything like that before, man. How? Wait. That's just exceptional. You know, I want to use the R word, but that's I'm not going to say the R word. I'm just going to say that was exceptional. That was very exceptional, Mr. Trump. That was very exceptional. Hey chat, tell me, how exceptional do you think that recording was? Tell me, chat. Tell me in the chat. How exceptional do you think that recording is? Tell me that on Twitch. Tell me that on YouTube. Tell me that on VK. Tell me that on DLive. Tell me that on Facebook. Tell me that everywhere. Everywhere I'm streaming. Guys, tell me what you think about that recording of Donald Trump talking to the Georgia Secretary of State. What do you think his intentions were? How exceptional do you think that recording was? Do you think the president is an exceptional individual? Because I think it is exceptional to say these things on a recorded line. You know, I think that it is exceptional, all right, to say these things on a recorded line. All right, let's come back to this CNN. I'm gonna provide another link in the chat for that recording. That way, for all the Trump trolls that's gonna appear, they can't say, "Oh, you didn't give us a link to it." There's a link right there. You can get the whole link to the recording right there. That way you can hear it. So if we're gonna go back and give you this link one more time to the CNN article before we go ahead and finish it, we go into our break. All right. Let's finish out this article. Raffensperger, a Republican and a Trump supporter, has consistently turned back Trump's claims of voter fraud in Georgia. He has overseen 3 different recounts of the vote and conducted several other reviews of the process. He recently tasked the Georgia Bureau of Investigation with conducting an audit of the signature match system in Cobb County that determined the system was 99.9% accurate and revealed no evidence of fraud. The Post also reported that Meadows' lawyer Cleta Mitchell and other Republican allies of the president were also on the call. The call represents the latest extraordinary effort by Trump to change the results of the race he lost following weeks of legal and political efforts by the president, his legal team, and Republican allies to overturn the free and fair election. The ask comes just days before Congress will meet to certify Biden's victory, a traditionally ceremonial exercise on Capitol Hill that will look dramatically different this year as Republicans in both chambers plan to object to the counting of electoral college votes. Let me go ahead and get a link to that right there. They hyperlink that, so I'm going to provide that for you in the chat, because I want to provide you as many links as possible. That way, it just encourages you guys to read along with me, and also read some of the things that I read too. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Senate Minority Leader, I should say, Chuck Schumer. He's not a majority leader, he's a minority leader, Chuck Schumer, seized on the call in a tweet Sunday afternoon, suggesting to the Republican Senator Ted Cruz of Texas that he and his GOP allies should investigate the president for his actions. Cruz was among 11 Republican senators who announced Saturday they would support an objection to the electoral college votes if one is brought, and propose an election commission to conduct an emergency 10-day audit of the election returns in the disputed states, despite no credible evidence suggesting widespread voter fraud in the 2020 election. You want to investigate election fraud? Start with this, Schumer, a New York Democrat, wrote in a tweet aimed at Cruz that included a link to the Washington Post report. The story is breaking and will be updated. All right, so we're gonna get you a link to that tweet from Chuck Schumer, from Chucky Schumer. From old Chucky Schumer. All right, let's go into a new story. California reports more than 45,000 new coronavirus cases as surge continues into new year.
Hello?
All right, we're going to pause that real quick. All right, so we're going to get you a link to that and post that in the chat for you guys. Get a sip of my drink. All right. Let's go ahead and get back into the news stories. California reports more than 45,000 new coronavirus cases as surge continues into new year. Madeline Holcomb and Eric Levinson of CNN posted this today, January 3rd, on Sunday, 2021. Happy belated New Year. Let's get into the news. California reported from CNN. California reported Sunday that 45,352 people newly tested positive for coronavirus, continuing a surge that has pushed hospitals and their exhausted staff to the brink. Around the U.S., hospitals are racing to keep up with surges of COVID-19 patients at numbers they have not seen at any other time in the pandemic. Overall, at least 123,000 people nationwide were in the hospital with COVID on Sunday, marking more than a month that the number of hospitalizations has exceeded 100,000, according to the COVID tracking project. I'm going to give you a link to that COVID tracking project link right there. The rising spread has not spared hospital staff either. At one California hospital, an outbreak possibly connected to an inflatable air-powered costume on Christmas has sickened nearly 4 dozen employees, and health experts worried what will happen to those numbers if infections continue to spread. This is about total collapse of the healthcare system if we have another spike, said Dr. Brad Spellberg, Chief Medical Officer at the Los Angeles County University of Southern California Medical Center. I'll drop another link to an article here for you guys from CNN. And we in the hospital cannot stop that. We can only react to it. It is the public that has the power to put a stop to the spread of this virus by obeying the public health guidance that we have put out. That was also by Dr. Brad Spellberg, Chief Medical Officer at the Los Angeles County University of Southern California Medical Center. The surge in new cases has also limited the vaccine rollout. U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams said Sunday. The Trump administration has pushed responsibility for administering the shots to state and local partners, but they are stretched thin by the flood of cases. I'm going to get you a link to that by Jerome Adams. All about Jerome Adams there. When you ask what went wrong, we have to understand that this virus also occurred in the midst of a surge, and a lot of the local capacity to be able to vaccinate was being used for testing and responding to surges, Adams said. We have to understand that it occurred over the holidays, and people in health departments and in hospitals take holiday breaks too. But the good news is that we are seeing it quickly ramp up thanks to our state partners. California hospitals on the brink. In California, emergency room officials said hospitals are treating an unprecedented number of coronavirus patients, including some healthcare workers. At Kaiser Permanente San Jose Medical Center, 44 employees in the emergency department tested positive for the virus between December 27th and January 1st, according to Irene Chavez, Senior Vice President and Area Manager. Chavez said in a separate statement that the medical center is investigating whether an inflatable air-powered costume may have played a role in the spread. Oh my God! Oh wow, a costume might have caused that. A staff member did appear briefly in the emergency department on December 25th wearing an air-powered costume, Chavez said. Any exposure, if it occurred, would have been completely innocent and quite accidental, as the individual had no COVID symptoms and only sought to lift the spirits of those around them during what is a very stressful time. Chavez said in the statement that air-powered costumes will no longer be allowed at the facility. I bet they won't be. If anything, this should serve as a very real reminder that the virus is widespread and often without symptoms, and we must all be vigilant, she said. In Southern California, design and construction experts from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers have also deployed to the Los Angeles area to evaluate and, where necessary, upgrade oxygen delivery systems at about a half a dozen hospitals. One area hospital converted administrative offices and break rooms into treatment areas for their coronavirus patients, said Colonel Julie Balton, commander of the Los Angeles district for the Corps of Engineers. Let's go down here. Vaccines being administered slower than expected. Rollout issues dampen COVID-19 vaccine optimism. Federal government officials said they plan to vaccinate 20 million people by the end of 2020, but the results so far have fallen well short. More than 13 million vaccine doses have been distributed by the federal government to states and local counties, the CDC COVID data tracker said. Of those, more than 4.2 million vaccine doses have been administered. Those include doses to both the Moderna and Pfizer/BioNTech vaccines. I'm going to get you a link to that CDC COVID data tracker. That way you guys can have that. I'm happy that whenever they provide extra links to you guys, that way you guys can have it so that you can be empowered with information. All right. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, said on Sunday the United States has fallen behind on administering vaccines, but hopes that the momentum will pick up in the first few weeks of January. But if you look at the last 72 hours, there's been about 1.5 million people administered into. There's been about 1.5 million administered into people's arms, which is an average of about 500,000 a day, he said. Fauci said that the U.S. is not where it wants to be in administering vaccines. We've got to do much better, he said. I agree, but the logistics of it is a real nightmare. Dr. Leana Wen, former Baltimore health commissioner, told CNN the federal government needs to take a more active role in the mass vaccination efforts. The problem is local and state health. The problem is that the local and state health departments have been doing everything else in this response. They've been the ones figuring out how to ramp up testing and contact tracing and doing public education, and now we want them to also take on the duties of launching this massive vaccination campaign. They really need the assistance of the federal government, she said. So far, the vaccines approved in the U.S. Require 2 doses based a weeks apart, and the U.S. will keep doing it that way rather than follow the UK's decision to potentially delay second doses. Dr. Fauci told CNN on Friday. I want to get you a link to that too. That way you guys can read as much as you want to your heart's content. All right, the UK adopted that strategy in order to give as many people as possible the first dose as quickly as possible, saying that it affords some amount of protection. We make decisions based on data. We don't have any data giving a single dose and waiting for more than the normal period of time to give the second dose, Fauci said. All right, guys, we're going to take a 30-minute break. We're going to be right back with more Pitchfork Podcast. Don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to be returning with more news stories. Guys, we do this show every single day. Hit the like button, hit the share button, guys. If you want to call in to leave a comment, guys, the number to call in is 253-203-6784. Let me get you a link again, get you an invite link to my Discord server. That way, if you guys want to join my Discord server and you want to just give me a few shout outs, you want to also join the voice chat in case you don't have an actual phone. You want to just join a voice chat and kind of like just share your opinions, and that way I can play the desktop audio. That way people can actually hear you. That's totally fine. With that being said, guys, I'm gonna take a 30-minute break. I'll be right back. Gotta go walk the dog. Go visit the little boy's room, and also refuel and restrap for the next segment, guys. We're gonna be covering some more news stories. With that being said, don't go anywhere, guys. Stay here, right here, for more Pitchfork Podcast. Be back in 30. All right, we're back. A little bit early from the Pitchfork Podcast. Guys, we're back. All right, guys, hit the like button, hit the share button. Let people know that I run this podcast. My name is Dion McNeil. I am a journalist. I'm an author. I am also a YouTuber. I am also a video editor. I am also an audio editor. I don't do so great with audio a lot of times, but however, we do try. Now, I run this Pitchfork Podcast to give you some news and views. I also have a series known as news and views in under a minute. Sometimes I post this to it. Sometimes it's a little bit sporadic, but when I do post to it, it's always under a minute. I give you that, so kind of give you a quippy news format to kind of follow. With that being said, I also have several other platforms in which I upload things, but I do gaming. I do a lot of different games. I'm a big gamer. I spend a lot of my days just playing games, man, because I play a lot of horror games, a lot of horror mode games, a lot of card games, but I'll be streaming that sometimes on the channel. So for the new subscribers that are coming through, people that are seeing my content for the first time, you will have to suffer through that. But I also do Bad Cop No Donut, where I look at a police department and I expose them for what they are. A lot of times, which is cops that are acting like bad apples. I have one that's upcoming. One that is upcoming is about the Seattle Police Department. Now, on the screen, I'm going to show you a little picture that I made for the video. Now, I'm going to have this picture inside the video so you guys can see like where this is going to be going. This is going to be pretty wild. I was talking about Barack Obama. Because people already were saying, well, Seattle has a black police chief, and I kind of showed this right here in the video. Take a look at the screen. I was like, but they had a black police chief, and then I showed Obama. I was like, basically, what I was trying to, the point that I was making was that, yeah, you might have a black police chief, but just having a black guy in office or a black woman in power doesn't mean that the racial incidents are gonna drop. Because Barack Obama, he was a black president, but we sure as hell drone strike a whole lot of black and brown people, you know. So just put them in office didn't really help out much, did it? I'm just saying. All right, so the number to call in is 253-203-6784. 253-203-6784. The stream is back. Let's get into the news. All right. Let's get into the news, folks. All right. That didn't post to D Live. I had to make sure I posted it to D Live. All right. So, with that being said, we're going to get back into the news. All right. So, before we do that, though, we got to take care of some housekeeping now. Guys, I must point out a few things. I will try my best to give you guys the news as promptly as possible. However, I want you to understand something, right? Is that I'll give you the news from the standpoint of how I see it, but at the same time, I will give you the links so that you can follow, you know, the news yourself, right? I want you to take to heart as much as possible the things that I say, and I want you to listen to what I say. However, what I don't want you to do is become a fan, right? I want you to become a fan of my work, but I don't want you to become a diehard fan, whereas you just listen to everything that I say without question. I want you to question everything that I say, and that's totally fine. But I want you to be smart about it. All right, guys? I want people to question things and to stop being blind followers. All right. So we got a few stories we gotta get into. With that being said, guys, hit the like button, hit the share button, let people know that I run this podcast. Let's get into the news right now. All right. We are back to CNN. Man who pleaded guilty to practicing medicine without a license as a teen faces new fraud charges. Oh my God. This man did not learn his lesson. This man was a meme. Okay, it's written by Rebecca Reese and Travis Caldwell of CNN. Released Saturday, January 2nd. Saturday, it was yesterday. By the way, happy belated New Year. Oh my God. This is going to be a crazy news story. Oh my God. Let's get into this news story. Oh my God. All right. Malachi A. Love Robinson, the Florida man who once pleaded guilty to practicing medicine without a license as a teen, has been arrested on new allegations of fraud. All right, Malachi A. Love Robinson, the Florida man who pleaded guilty to practicing medicine without a license as a teen, has been arrested on new allegations of fraud. Love Robinson, who was 23, was booked Thursday morning into the Palm Beach County Jail in South Florida on charges of grand theft and fraud, jail records show. CNN has attempted to reach Love Robinson for comment. According to a probable cause affidavit from the Delray Beach Police Department, Love Robinson, a contracted employee for a shipping broker, is accused of stealing is accused of stealing from his employer in early 2020 by rerouting payments from the business to his personal accounts, causing a total loss of $10,129.81. According to the affidavit, Love Robinson employer showed police screenshots of text conversations where Love Robinson allegedly stated he fucked himself and that he was doing everything he can to make it right. I don't want to go to jail, another text message said. According to the affidavit, Love Robinson later told his employer he had refunded the money, but the employer told police no money was ever received, the affidavit said. According to jail records, Love Robinson was released from Palm Beach County Jail on a surety bond Thursday evening. Love Robinson first ran into trouble with the Florida Department of Health in October 2015, which filed a cease and desist notice accusing him of practicing medicine without a license, a department spokesperson told CNN. Love Robinson gained notoriety in 2016 under his arrest in Palm Beach County on suspicion of practicing medicine without a license, posing as a medical doctor and treating patients. The Palm Beach County Sheriff's Department Narcotics Unit, along with the Florida Department of Health, carried out an operation in which an undercover officer visited Love Robinson's office. Love Robinson physically examined the officer and provided medical advice, according to the sheriff's office, culminating in his arrest. At the time of his arrest, he was 18 years old. Yet his profile on a medical review website listed his age at 25. The website said the information was ultimately supplied by Love Robinson, his office, or on his behalf. Love Robinson at the time denied the claims, stating he never portrayed himself as a medical doctor, but rather as having a PhD. In March 2016, Love Robinson faced additional charges in Florida of fraud and larceny, as authorities said he used checking account information from one of his clients to pay more than $34,000 in car payments. In September 2016, Love Robinson was arrested in Virginia on accusations of fraud. Authorities stated he tried to buy a $35,000 Jaguar automobile with the purported help of an elderly co-signer without the co-signer's knowledge. In 2017, Love Robinson was sentenced to 5 years in prison after pleading guilty to one of the Virginia charges, with four of the years given to be suspended. After his release, Love Robinson pleaded guilty in 2018 in a deal regarding the earlier charges from Florida and was sentenced to more than 3 years in prison with credit for 16 months already served, according to the South Florida Sun-Sentinel. He was released in September 2019 after 20 months in a Florida prison, according to the Miami Herald. God damn, brother. Stay out of trouble. Listen. When you become an internet meme, right? How the hell do you keep getting in damn trouble? People know who the hell you... People know who your black ass is now, motherfucker. They know who you is. They sees your faces. They sees your faces. They know who you is. How the hell do you keep getting in damn trouble? I just so can anybody in the chat explain this shit to me? How the hell do you become a meme, right? How the hell do you become a meme? And yet you think motherfuckers is not gonna recognize your black ass? How do you become a meme and think people ain't gonna automatically recognize your black ass? Bruh, I need somebody in chat to help me out with that, cause I'm struggling. I'm struggling. Help me, Jesus. I need somebody to explain to me how in the hell is it that this man's face is quite literally everywhere over the fucking internet. Right? There's been video after video made in honor of him. There's videos everywhere, all over the internet, made with his face on it. And yet this jack of asses, this exceptional individual, keeps wanting to do crime under his real name. Negro. We know who you be. We know who you is. You can't hide no more, Jesus. Fix it, Lord. You pose as a doctor. That's some Discovery Channel shit. That became a meme, brother. And your dumb ass decides to go out and hold on. Let's just go down and look at all this. Hold on. This motherfucker here, in 2016, right? I'm gonna be posting all the links in the damn chat. He faced more charges of fraud and larceny as he used a checking account for one of his clients to pay more than $34,000 in car payments. So this motherfucker here, let's see, give you that link right there. Cause holy shit, that one time. Then in September of the same year, now 2016, he was arrested in Virginia on accusations of fraud. Authorities stated he tried to buy a $35,000 Jaguar automobile with the purported help of an elderly co-signer without the co-signer's knowledge. Basically saying, I'm going to write down this person's name as a co-signer, even though they ain't co-signing shit. Basically, he was trying to reverse. He was trying to finesse them, if you will. He was trying to give them the old credit heave ho, if you will. He was trying to sign for something. He was trying to sign somebody's name or something, right? Even though they had no knowledge of it. Okay. In 2017, right, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison after pleading guilty to one of the Virginia charges. 4 of the years given to be suspended, meaning he was given 5 years, right? But he only did 1, meaning he was given a chance. So you're gonna post that link in the chat too. So just to show you that this motherfucker was given a chance now. So if they throw the goddamn book at his ass, fuck him. They gave him a chance now. Then after his release, he pleaded guilty in 2018, meaning he was sentenced to 5 years in 2017, meaning he wasn't supposed to be out until 2022. Meaning, even right now, he's supposed to be, taking the old cup and banging it against the goddamn bar. He's supposed to be still locked down. But 4 to 5 years that he was originally sentenced to was forgiven away. It was just washed away. He only served 1 year. 1 year for co-signing for somebody without an elderly person's knowledge. Co-signing for a $35,000 car for an elderly person, fucking up their goddamn credit without their knowledge. Oh my God. Fuck that guy. I don't care if he gets locked away forever. You took an old person's money and took their credit and tried to co-sign their name on a $35,000 Jaguar. You want to co-sign an old person's name on a damn a Jaguar lease because you wanted to go drive a freaking Jaguar. Mind you, he is only 23 years old right now. Meaning he had no intention of working for that. He just wanted to find an old person and just fuck over their freaking credit. That could have been your grandma. That could have been your grandpa. That could have been Meemaw or Papa. This mofo here? Him? He takes advantage of old people. This little Meemaw fucker here. I don't care if you get locked away forever, because he tried to co-sign for a vehicle, a $35,000 Jaguar, without the knowledge of an elderly co-signer. In fact, before in March, he tried to use a checking account for one of his clients to pay $34,000 in car payment. So, meaning it was a repeated thing. Then in 2017, he was given 5 years in prison, but he was only but 4 to 5 years were knocked off. So he only did 1 year. Mind you, before all this, right? He was arrested at 18 years old because he was faking being a doctor. Giving people medical advice. That could get people killed. Faking being a doctor. Interesting. And then after his release, he pleaded guilty in 2018 in a deal regarding the other charges from Florida and was sentenced to more than 3 years in prison with credit for 16 months already served, according to the South Florida Sun Sentinel. He was released in September 2019 after 20 months in a Florida prison, according to the Miami Herald. So only 20 months plus 16 months. I mean, this brother, 2 years and some change total, if you include the credit. This brother was given chance after chance after chance. He became a meme and didn't learn. He got in trouble again and didn't learn. He got in trouble one more again and didn't learn. Got in trouble one more again, got in trouble and was given leniency. Leniency that most black men will never see. He got leniency. And this dumbass still can't stay out of trouble. He steals. He's facing new fraud charges. Because if someone out there decided to give him a chance, right? Even with all his charges, right? Someone out here gave him a chance, gave him a job. Because as you can clearly see, he has priors. In fact, one of his priors is what made him a meme. So again, according to a probable cause affidavit from the Delray Beach Police Department, Love Robinson, a contracted employee for a shipping broker, is accused of stealing from his employer in early 2020 by rerouting payments from the business to his personal accounts, causing a total loss of $10,129.81. According to the affidavit, Love Robinson's employer showed police screenshots of text conversations where Love Robinson allegedly stated he effed himself and that he was doing everything he can to make it right. I don't want to go to jail, another text message said, according to the affidavit. Love Robinson later told his employer he had refunded the money, but the employer told the employer told police no money was ever received, the affidavit said. Oh my God. You were given so many chances, brother. By the way, Nancy Pelosi is she's a new Speaker of the House. She is the re-elected Speaker of the House. I'm going to give you that video right there. Go ahead and mute myself and get the video started.
If you're eligible for Medicare, you can.
All right, so you're gonna wait till this is playing a little bit. So you're gonna see when we're gonna get to some of the video portion here.
To be defeating the coronavirus. And defeat it, we will. And defeat it, we will. Amazing. 2 weeks ago, we passed an emergency relief package to crush the virus and put money in the pockets of workers and families, which is now the law.
Are you kidding me, Nancy? Nancy, are you kidding me? You put $600 in people's pockets and you call that goddamn progress, you piece of shit. I mean, the only reason why I'm glad that you're wearing a mask right now is because I don't want people to catch a whiff of all that bullshit that you just spewed. All right, we're going to continue this. This is just that just, oh God.
But we must do more to recognize our heroes. Let us thank our heroes, our healthcare workers, our first responders, our police and fire, whom we have denied support by denying help to state and local government. Our transportation, sanitation, food and social workers, and our teachers, our teachers, our teachers. They make our lives possible at the state and local level and will facilitate the distribution of the
Notice how she's thanking all these people, right? All these people who Nancy Pelosi made sure you only got $600. And people were like, oh, well, see, she's trying now. No, Nancy was more concerned with putting money into the hands of big banks, other countries, lobbying interests, these goddamn PACs. Nancy Pelosi does not have the political power that she has because she doesn't do people favors. Nancy Pelosi is not missing the meal. In fact, while we're at it, people love to try to bullshit and pretend like Nancy Pelosi is the perfect darling. How much is Nancy Pelosi net worth? Celebrity net worth. Nancy Pelosi's net worth, according to celebrity networth.com, is $120 million. Her salary is $220,000. She's 80 years old. Oh my God. God damn. God. She is at $120 million, bro. Do you understand what $120 million is? But listen. Do you understand what $120 million is to people? Do you understand what that is? That is generational wealth, bro. That ends poverty for generations, bro. That $120 million, there are countries who could survive off $120 million, believe it or not. Believe it or not, bro. Oh my God. Let's go back to this. This is just some wild shit.
President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris, who were elected 2 months ago from today, the House will continue our work to save lives and livelihood, to build back better in a
The House will continue to save lives and livelihood, right? So let me get this straight. Nancy, you're gonna save livelihoods. Well, in California right now, Gavin Newsom is shutting down businesses. Gavin Newsom has been acting like a fucking commie dictator. So if you suddenly care about businesses, how come you haven't reined in Gavin Newsom yet? If you care so much about businesses, right? How come you won't give a bigger bailout to small businesses, the same bailouts that you Nancy, you voted for bailouts for Bank of America not once, not twice, but 3 fucking times, Nancy. Oh, Nancy. Yes, you did. All that bullshit that you normally spew. I'm so glad that you're wearing a goddamn mask so that we don't have to intake all the bullshit that spews out of your damn mouth. Nancy, how in the hell can you sit here and say that Congress, you're the Speaker of the goddamn House, Congress is somehow helping people when y'all passed a bill that only gave people $600, people that ain't had jobs probably in months. I mean, in some cases, 9 months. People that ain't had jobs in months. People who got children to feed. Rules to keep up, likes to keep on, food to buy. But you did your job, Nancy. Girl, if you don't sit your crypt keeper 80-year-old ass down, your $120 million, ain't no way in hell. Now I'm gonna believe that someone who has $120 million suddenly cares, right, about the little guy. You have $120 million. You getting paid way too much to give a shit about how I feel. Okay?
Thank you. As Speaker, I am now ready to take the oath of office. I usually do so surrounded by children, but of course, COVID has prevented that. But they are our purpose. Mr. Dean, the Honorable Don.
Some would say there's probably a good thing that you aren't around children because they say that you stay alive by vampirizing the souls of children. I'm not feeding to any Pizzagate shit or anything. I'm just saying, it wouldn't shock me because she is the very embodiment of goddamn evil. Let's just be honest. That's not mixed words here, okay? And then she is evil. She's very much evil.
I've served with you longer than anybody else has served with you. I love this institution. I will be honest, I do not like what I see. It's time we hold hands and talk to one another. And Madam Speaker, I say this with all sincerity, you will be the Speaker of the House, not of a party. That may hurt some of you. The job of our nation is for the House of Representatives to govern this nation.
Then govern. Then why don't you try to actually govern? Why don't every member of the House, right, forego their goddamn salaries for the rest of the year? Forego your salary for the rest of the year and say, we're going to take the money that we were going to receive, and we're going to now instead give that to the poorest people in every one of our districts. I guarantee you, right, if anyone were to propose that very radical notion, that'll be shot down. Oh my God, I can guarantee you that'll be shot down. I guarantee you that will never see the light of goddamn day. I guarantee you right now, if Nancy Pelosi said, you know what, I'm worth $120 million. $120 million. I can find 120 million Americans right now, and I can change their lives forever. I can give them $1 million a piece. But guess what? I'm making over $200,000 a year. With that kind of salary, I'm still not missing meals, right? I mean, I be a lot of debt because I bought, mansions and shit. But I mean, other Americans are gonna be bankrupt and foreclosed on, right? So I'll be in the same boat as them, right? But no, they won't do that. They won't sacrifice the exact same way that they're asking you to sacrifice. They ask you to sacrifice even though they won't give up their mansions. They ask you to sacrifice even though they won't give up their freaking fancy cars. They ask you to give up your guns even though they won't give up their freaking security. Oh my God. It's almost as if these people think that they're better than you because they're claiming that they did their job. They did their job. They did their jobs, America. $600. They did their jobs, America. Way to go, Nancy. Way to go, Nancy.
Thank you. And now the chair will first swear in the gentleman from Alaska, Mr. Young. The gentleman from Alaska will rise. Mr. Young, Dean, do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and we have it?
All right, so that was Nancy Pelosi being sworn in as the Speaker of the House yet again. It's rather disgusting that she's allowed to be in politics still, but unfortunately, these are the leaders that we have. These are our kings. These are the kings and queens of promise. These are the people that continuously get votes, even though the American people have been told repeatedly that politicians hate you, that they don't love you. But the American people, we are very, very stubborn people. We don't particularly care that things appear it just certainly appears that that Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and people like, believe it or not, your Joe Bidens, your Barack Obamas, your Donald Trumps, your George Bushes, your Mitt Romneys, your Lindsey Grahams, your old Southern dandy Lindsey Graham, the old Southern pretty boy, lazy boy, the old Southern sweet sugar boy himself. He is sweeter than nectarine. He's like a little butterfly, always looking for sugar. Always looking for sugar, Always looking for nectar from the flowers, huh? And by the flowers, you know what I mean by the flowers. The other folk, the LGBT folk. That's why I'm so proud of South Carolina for continuously electing our proud LGBT senator, even though he may not realize that, we definitely know he's LGBT. So ain't nowhere in hell, right? You're gonna look at me and tell me that when you see Lindsey Graham standing next to a woman, you say, man, he's smashing the hell out of that. Stop it. Just stop it. Like that speaking Michael Jordan meme. Stop it. Yeah, stop it. Come on now. Think about it. All right, here. It's from Fox News. Yeah, I think they already posted in the chat. Nancy Pelosi on Sunday clinched enough votes in the House of Representatives to secure her fourth term as House Speaker. The California Democrat, who has led her party in the House since 2003 and is the only woman to be Speaker, has been widely expected to retain her post. Pelosi received 216 votes to 209 for Representative Kevin McCarthy, Republican from California, who again will be the chamber's minority leader. Earlier, 427 members announced themselves as present, 220 Democrats and 207 Republicans. Republican Nancy Pelosi, Democrat from California, needed a majority or 214 votes to return as Speaker, meaning that she could afford to lose just 6 Democratic votes. Follow for the latest updates on the House Speaker election. Oh, wow. So things are tightened up in the House. All right. Let's get here. Marjorie Taylor Greene involved in dispute over mask. Blast Pelosi. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Greene was quick to respond to news report. Okay, so let me go ahead and pause this real quick before we play this from Fox News. We're going to go ahead and get you a link to this piece right here. Or there's a link to this piece from Fox News in the chat. Should be. It's going to update for me. Okay. All right, cool. So we're going to go ahead and play that on the stream.
Let's turn back to Capitol Hill right now, where lawmakers are still kicking off this new session of Congress. It's like the first day of school for them, but there could be some drama. Chad Pergram is there with what we can expect from this opening day of the new 117th Congress. Chad, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mike.
The House has now taken attendance. Why is that important, Chad?
They're still taking attendance to understand and actually codify just how big the House of Representatives is at this moment. If the House were at full population, they would be at 435 members. But guess what? There's going to be 3 vacancies at a minimum to start out. Luke Lutlow, the congressman-elect Republican from Louisiana who passed away a couple of days ago. Also, they have not yet called the race in New York's 22nd congressional district between Anthony Brindisi, who had been the Democrat, and also Claudia Tenney, former member, Republican there, and also Maria Elvira Salazar, Republican from Florida. She flipped a seat from blue to red, but she caught COVID, was in the hospital actually, and will not be there today. Now, they don't have remote voting in the House of Representatives just yet, so you have to be there in person to constitute the new House. The House will vote tomorrow to implement remote voting, which was something that they had for the pandemic. But right now, it's going to be contingent on just how many people are here. I'm looking at this, taking attendance right now. It's 419. It could be a little lower because there could be other people out later today, and that will impact, Mike, the vote for Speaker later this afternoon.
Interesting. So what does it take for Nancy Pelosi to be reelected as House Speaker?
You have to have an outright majority of the entire House. Now, again, if it's at 430.
All right, I thought they were going to show something about the actual dispute. I'm going to look it up real quick. The crazy video. Let me see. Trying to find. See upload date. All right, so let me just read over this article here. So, incoming Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, another Republican, and another new Republican House member were involved in a dispute over coronavirus masks as the 117th Congress met for the first time on Sunday, journalist Jake Sherman reported. Greene and the unidentified Republican appeared to tell floor staff they would not put on masks, Sherman reported. Let me go here, let's see. Here we go. I'm gonna give you a link to Jake Sherman. That way you guys can have this. Here's the guy that was reporting it. It's in the chat there, links in the chat. Two new Republicans, including Marjorie Taylor Greene, are being told by House floor staff that they would have to put on masks. They would have to put masks on. As of now, they seem to be telling the floor staff they would not put it on. Taylor Greene is leaving the floor with the other Republican who we are trying to ID. Now the Republican and Democratic floor staff are in a screaming match on the floor. So this Congress is going great already. Oh my God! So basically, they're sitting out. I'm gonna follow her too. I want to follow her. I want to follow her. Oh man. Anyways, there's some other big news, guys. That's kind of crazy that they got into a shouting match about not wearing a mask. But there's some other major news, guys, that I want to play for you guys. Not from the New York Times, of course. Let's go over here to the Washington. Yeah, don't play those freaking things. Okay, bye. I hate when Fox just plays its stuff. I'm gonna play a call for you guys. A call for featuring Donald Trump and the Georgia Secretary of State, Brad Roethlisberger. want you guys to hear this recording. I'm going to play this now, and I'm going to let this play out, and you guys tell me what you think is important. What do you think Trump was trying to accomplish here?
We have won this election in Georgia based on all of this. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, Brad. You know, I mean, having a correct, the people of Georgia are angry. And these numbers are going to be repeated on Monday night, along with others that we're going to have by that time, which are much more substantial even. And the people of Georgia are angry. The people of the country are angry. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, you know, that you've recalculated.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong.
Now, do you think it's possible that they shredded ballots in Fulton County? Because that's what the rumor is. And also that Dominion took out machines. That Dominion is really moving fast to get rid of their machinery. Do you know anything about that? Because that's illegal.
This is Ryan, Germany. No, Dominion has not moved any machinery out of Fulton County. We're having.
Well, but have they moved? Have they moved the inner parts of the machines and replaced them with other parts?
No.
You sure, Ryan?
I'm sure.
You should want to have an accurate election. And you're a Republican.
We believe that we do have an accurate election.
No, I know you don't. No, you don't. You don't have. Not even close. You're off by hundreds of thousands of votes. You know what they did, and you're not reporting it. That's a criminal offense. And you can't let that happen. That's a big risk to you and to Ryan, your lawyer. That's a big risk. But they are shredding ballots, in my opinion, based on what I've heard, and they are removing machinery, and they're moving it as fast as they can, both of which are criminal fines, and you can't let it happen, and you are letting it happen. I'm notifying you that you're letting it happen. So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state. So tell me, Brad, what are we going to do? We won the election, and it's not fair to take it away from us like this. And it's going to be very costly in many ways. And I think you have to say that you're going to re-examine it, and you can re-examine it, but re-examine it with people that want to find answers, not people that don't want to find answers. For instance, I'm hearing Ryan, and he's probably, I'm sure, a great lawyer and everything, but he's making statements about those ballots that he doesn't know. But he's making them with such, he did make them with surety, but now I think he's less sure, because the answer is they all went to Biden. And that alone wins us the election by a lot. So.
Mr. President, you have people that submit information, and we have our people that submit information, and then it comes before the court, and the court then has to make a determination. We have to stand by our numbers. We believe our numbers are right.
Well, under law, you're not allowed to give faulty election results, okay? You're not allowed to do that, and that's what you've done. This is a faulty election result. And honestly, this should go very fast. You should meet tomorrow, because you have a big election coming up, and because of what you've done to the president, the people of Georgia know that this was a scam. And because of what you've done to the president, a lot of people aren't going out to vote. And a lot of Republicans are going to vote negative because they hate what you did to the president, okay? They hate it. And they're going to vote. And if you would be respected, if this thing could be straightened out before the election. You have a big election coming up on Tuesday.
I am excited about the fact that Georgia is a competitive state, that
Now, I gotta say, I'm gonna drop that link in the chat one more time, man. I gotta say, guys, that sounds pretty goddamn damning, wouldn't you say? Oh my God, that sounds pretty damning, don't it? It sounds to me like Donald J. Trump trying to get old boy to give the people the old election okie doke. It sounds to me, and I could be wrong, but it sounds to me as if Donald John Trump was gonna give the people the old electoral ankle breaker. It sounds to me like old Donald Trump planned on lying to the people. Come join in. Now I'm going to post a few links out there, so get some people out there, let them know that I'm running the podcast. Guys, I want you guys to know, I want you to know that it's very important that you hit the like button, hit the share button, you let people know that I run this podcast. If you want this show to grow, then let it grow through your avocation. I want you to advocate for a devil's advocate. I want you to advocate for a fused painter. I want you to advocate for a devil's advocate. I am streaming on Twitch. I am streaming on using Restream. I am streaming on Twitch. I am streaming on YouTube. I am streaming across social media, guys. I want people to know that I'm doing this show. By the way, let your MAGA friends, your friends who are stuck on MAGA, stuck on stupid, who are stuck on being a political fan. I want you guys to especially send this link and make sure people know about the show. I posted the phone number to the show on the thumbnail and also on the link. So I'm going to post the link to the show in the actual chat. That way you guys can have a link to the show and you can share it with your friends. That way you guys can have that. Please share that with your friends. Share that with your MAGA friends. Share that with your police, cop, dick sucking friends. I want those people especially to tune in so they can hear the truth. So that we can deprogram the bullshit. So that we can help these people. We can reform these people. We can save them. We have the technology. The technology is Restream and YouTube and also Twitch, Twitter. It is also DLive. It is Trovo. It is every platform out there. I want people to deprogram from the bullshit. I want people to not be so focused on teams. No more teams. No more fans. No more political fans. No more fans. We don't want any more fans. All right? The political fans have to go. We have to stop being fans of politicians. We have to stop being fans of these people who lie to us. We have to stop being fans of people who just don't care about you. I'm tired of people kowtowing to fans. I want to play that recording one more time for you guys. I want people to hear this. Again, I'm going to give you a link to that recording, guys. I want people to have that link to that recording. So I want people to hear that. I want people to hear how your boy Donald John Trump wanted to cheat you, the American people. I want y'all to hear how your boy.
We have won this election in Georgia.
I want y'all to hear it, right? I'm going to pause this again, right? Go to the live studio. Donald Trump trying to get Georgia Secretary of State to cheat. Actual recording. There you go. There goes the recording right there. All right. We're going to listen to that recording again, guys, because I want people to hear that. I think it's just absolutely juicy. It is spicy. It is, oh my God. It is juicy. All right. I'm gonna pause myself. We're going to play that again.
Machinery. Having a correct, the people, we have won this election in Georgia based on all of this. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, Brad. Having a correct, the people of Georgia are angry. And these numbers are going to be repeated on Monday night, along with others that we're going to have by that time, which are much more substantial even. And the people of Georgia are angry. The people of the country are angry. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, that you've recalculated.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong.
Now, do you think it's possible that they shredded ballots in Fulton County? Because that's what the rumor is. And also that Dominion took out machines. That Dominion is really moving fast to get rid of their machinery. Do you know anything about that? Because that's illegal.
This is Ryan, Germany. No, Dominion has not moved any machinery out of Fulton County. We're having.
But have they moved? Have they moved the inner parts of the machines and replaced them with other parts?
No.
You sure, Ryan?
I'm sure.
You should want to have an accurate election. And you're a Republican.
We believe that we do have an accurate election.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have. Not even close. You're off by hundreds of thousands of votes. You know what they did, and you're not reporting it. That's a criminal offense. And you can't let that happen. That's a big risk to you and to Ryan, your lawyer. That's a big risk. But they are shredding ballots, in my opinion, based on what I've heard, and they are removing machinery, and they're moving it as fast as they can, both of which are criminal fines, and you can't let it happen, and you are letting it happen. I'm notifying you that you're letting it happen. So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state. So tell me, Brad, what are we going to do? We won the election, and it's not fair to take it away from us like this. And it's going to be very costly in many ways. And I think you have to say that you're going to re-examine it, and you can re-examine it, but re-examine it with people that want to find answers, not people that don't want to find answers. For instance, I'm hearing Ryan, and he's probably, I'm sure, a great lawyer and everything, but he's making statements about those ballots that he doesn't know. But he's making them with he did make them with surety, but now I think he's less sure, because the answer is they all went to Biden. And that alone wins us the election by a lot. So.
Mr. President, you have people that submit information, and we have our people that submit information, and then it comes before the court, and the court then has to make a determination. We have to stand by our numbers. We believe our numbers are right.
Well, under law, you're not allowed to give faulty election results, okay? You're not allowed to do that, and that's what you've done. This is a faulty election result. And honestly, this should go very fast. You should meet tomorrow, because you have a big election coming up, and because of what you've done to the president, the people of Georgia know that this was a scam. And because of what you've done to the president, a lot of people aren't going out to vote. And a lot of Republicans are going to vote negative because they hate what you did to the president, okay? They hate it. And they're going to vote. And if you would be respected, if this thing could be straightened out before the election. You have a big election coming up on Tuesday.
What did that sound like to you? What did that sound like to you? Did that sound like someone who was convinced that they were going to win, or someone that was convinced that they were going to lose? Did that sound like a confident man? Did it? Did it sound like a man who was confident that they were gonna win on their own merits, or did it sound like a man who was desperate, who was trying to convince somebody to cheat for him? Please tell me in the chat. What do you think that sounds more like to you? Did that sound like a confident man? Or did it sound like a man who knew that they actually lost, but wanted someone to cheat for him? Which one do you think it is? Which one do you think it is? Because I contend, and this is just me, you know, I could very well be wrong, but I contend that this is a man who's not confident. I contend that this is a man who knows that he lost, but is trying to use his weight and his influence to bully people into making them, into forcing them into conceding. He should be the one that's conceding, not the other way around. But he wants other people to concede. And see, that's where I think the delusion begins. See, I don't think that there is a particular end to the level of delusion that you see with Donald J. Trump. I think that delusion is something, is somewhat of a automatic mode for him. But I think that to a certain extent, he actually believes the bullshit that he says. You know, there's a difference between lying and being delusional, right? There's a difference between the two. And let me explain to you what I mean by that. What I mean by that is this. The man isn't lying, right? He actually believes, and he actually believes it, that he is that he's actually being targeted. That he's actually that he's not delusional. He actually believes that people are so stupid that they're going to continue to believe his delusions. He actually believes that. And the issue that I have with that delusion being what it is the fact that other people believe it now. And now that other people believe this nonsense, it just it upsets me on a level of, in any other case, right? In any other situation, we would attempt to call out such behavior. And yet for some reason we let that behavior go. We pretend that it's okay to allow people to live in delusions. We pretend that it's okay that we allow families to be torn apart during holiday seasons. We pretend that it's okay that husbands and wives are broken up because of the election cycle. We pretend that it's okay that a country is torn apart right now due to debates over masks, whether or not to wear one. We pretend that that's okay. That there won't be a price to pay for things like that. left a message on Twitch. It's from Fuse Painter 86. I love you, Twitch. But we pretend like that's okay, and that won't have any consequences. And we're allowing this same guy to try to steal a freaking election. And we think that's okay. And the question that I want to ask is why? Why do we think that's okay? Why, after we listen to that recording, and again, we're gonna listen to that again, but why is it that this isn't bigger news? Why isn't that every Trump supporter out there? Why haven't they jumped ship yet? Why isn't this being played on every channel? The president of the United States of America called the Georgia Secretary of State and tried to essentially convince him to give him a freaking election. He didn't say, "Hey, go find the voter fraud." He said, you know, find voter fraud by any means necessary. That's pretty much what he was getting at. He said to find him 11,780 votes. That's what he said. All right. Now, if on the phone the chick tells you you ain't getting no, you ain't gonna get no coochie. Sorry, you ain't getting none of the cooch. You ain't getting none of the cooch, magooch. You ain't getting none of that. That means you gotta accept that and move on, right? You don't keep begging. Because you know how that looks, right? It looks creepy. Looks a little, grabby. Kind of white stalkerish. No, I wouldn't say white stalker. I should say white van man type of stalkerish. You know, like the chick might feel, hey, I might be identified with damn dinner records. You know. So once the chick says no, you move on, player, right? Well, the Georgia Secretary of State was the chick on the phone trying to tell Donald Trump to move on, and he just wouldn't do it. He just wouldn't have it. He wasn't having it. Once someone tells you no, and once someone says, we took it to court and you lost there, why are you still calling the man? What do you want the Georgia Secretary of State to tell you that a federal judge didn't already tell you? It sounds to me like you're trying to go behind a judge's back. I mean, you talk about law and order so much, right? With these road pirates that you call cops, right? But then all of a sudden, when it comes to Trump, suddenly law and order and what's on the books, suddenly that don't fucking matter no more. Suddenly, law and order is no longer important. It's very, very strange how that works out. You know, it seems to me a strange thing, very, very strange, unusual, quite exceptional. Wouldn't you say? Wouldn't you say? We're gonna go over a few more news stories before we get back to that story. But I say that is quite exceptional. I say that is quite exceptional, quite amazing. This next story concerns your girl Stacey Abrams, and I gotta tell you, she might be a big girl, but I love that girl. She doing it big. You gotta give it to her. All right. We're getting to the news stories right now, guys. Hit the like button, hit the share button, let people know that I run this podcast. If you guys want to call in, the number to call in is 253-203-6784. Get in the call. The number to call in is 253-203-6784. All right, guys, we're gonna get to the number. This is a story from the New York Times. Georgia is getting more blue. The Senate races will tell how much. All right, we're gonna give a link to that, to those articles down in the chat. That way, you guys can have it. You can have it for yourself. You can have it. I do not share with you. All right. I don't run from you. All right. I'm gonna stop with this stupid ass accent. A reliably red state for almost 2 decades, Georgia no longer resembles its deep South neighbors. President Trump and Joe Biden head there Monday to help rally the bases. All right. With President Trump touching down in North Georgia on Monday to court white rural voters, and President-elect Joseph R. Biden Jr. rallying support from a diverse electorate in Atlanta, the high-stake Senate runoffs are concluding with a test of how much the politics have shifted in a state that no longer resembles its deep South neighbors. Should the two challengers win Tuesday and hand Democrats control of the Senate, it will be with the same multiracial and heavily metropolitan support that propelled Mr. Biden to victory in Georgia and nationally. And if the Republican incumbents prevail, it will be because they pile up margins in conservative regions, just as Mr. Trump did. There's a marked change from the 2000 election when George W. Bush won decisively in the Atlanta suburbs to win the state, and Democrats still ran competitively with right-of-center voters in much of rural North and South Georgia. After resisting the tide of republicanism longer than in other parts of the South, it didn't elect its first GOP governor until 2002. Georgia became a reliably red state in the nearly 2 decades since, but now it's fast becoming a political microcosm of the country. Although Georgia still skews slightly to the right of America's political center, it has become politically it has become politically competitive for the same demographic reasons the country is closely divided. Democrats have become dominant in big cities and suburban areas, but they suffer steep losses in the lightly populated regions that once elected governors, senators, and, in Georgia, a native-born president, Jimmy Carter. Georgia is now a reflection of the country, said Keith Mason, a former chief of staff to Zell Miller, the late Democratic governor and U.S. senator from a small town in North Georgia. Mr. Miller helped hold off Republican realignment in the state in the 1990s, only to accelerate it in the early 2000s when he crossed party lines to endorse President George W. Bush's reelection. Conservative Democrats like Mr. Miller are rare, as are the sort of liberal to moderate Republicans who were also once found in Georgia. Today, though, the standard bearers of the two parties in the state reflect thoroughly nationalized parties. After nominating a string of candidates for statewide office who they hope will be palatable to rural whites, only to keep losing, Democrats elevated 3 candidates in the past 2 years whose views placed them in the mainstream of the National Party and whose profiles represented the party's broader coalition. Stacey Abrams, a black former state representative whose district includes portions of Atlanta, fell 55,000 votes short of being elected governor in 2018. John Ossoff is a white 33-year-old documentary filmmaker from a prosperous Atlanta family, and the Reverend Raphael Warnock grew up in impoverished circumstances in Savannah before becoming a pastor at the country's most storied black church, Ebenezer Baptist in Atlanta. All right. It looks nothing like the party of the 90s and early 2000s, said Jennifer Jordan, a Democratic state senator. She recalled how the former governor, Roy Barnes, a Democrat who succeeded Mr. Miller in 1999, used to brag about his NRA affiliation. The Senate hopefuls are embracing the change. Think about how far we've come, making that your standard bearers in these races are the young Jewish journalist, son of an immigrant, and a black pastor who holds who actually holds Dr. King's pulpit at Ebenezer Baptist Church. Mr. Ossoff said during a recent drive-in rally in the central Georgia city. The two candidates are also gladly accepting help from their national party, something Georgia Democrats once shied away from. In addition to Mr. Biden's Monday visit, Vice President-elect Kamala Harris was campaigning in Savannah on Sunday. It was no accident that Republicans steered Mr. Trump away from Greater Atlanta in his two trips to the state during the runoffs. In December, he visited Valdosta in South Georgia, and on Monday he would appear before the voters in Dalton, which is far closer to Tennessee than the state capital. Yet even bringing the president back to Georgia at all marked a risk for Republicans after weeks in which he roiled GOP politics in the state. He demonstrated his willingness to intervene once again this weekend. In an extraordinary phone call on Saturday, Mr. Trump pleaded with Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger to find enough votes to reverse his loss in the state. I'm going to go ahead and provide this link again to this article, and I'm also provide a link to that again. That was quite exceptional. Make sure that post. Okay, cool. Let me go ahead and get that Washington Post article link again. That way you guys can. I'm going to play that audio again. Although today's Georgia candidates are a better fit for the current Democratic Party, the way more easily energize the young and non-white voters who make up its base, they have struggled in much of the state's rural areas. Mr. Biden was able to defy this trend in his November victory, outperforming Ms. Abrams' 2018 showing and Mr. Ossoff's November performance in some of the state's most conservative redoubts. There was enough to win the state by 12,000 votes, said Michael Thurman, the chief executive of DeKalb County. And it shows why we need to do better reaching working class white voters. The president-elect also ran better than Ms. Abrams and Mr. Ossoff in much of metropolitan Atlanta. If the Democrats have shifted away from putting forward candidates like the Mr. Miller or former Senator Sam Nunn, another centrist from small town Georgia, Republicans have turned to elevated candidates much like their national leader. David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler are wealthy business executives with little political experience. And just as with Mr. Trump, the attempts by the two incumbents to rebrand themselves as populists to appeal to rural Georgians have had the effect of alienating many suburban voters who were once steadfast Republicans but now recoil from the party of Trump. Had Mr. Perdue just ran slightly better in the former Republican pillar of Cobb County, for example, he could have reached 50% statewide in November and avoided a runoff. But he didn't even garner 44% in the county, which encompasses the northwest suburbs of Atlanta after winning it 6 years ago, with more than 55% of the vote. We're more Trumpian, more populist than the Johnny Isaacson party, said Ralph Reed, a former state Republican chair and conservative Christian activist, referring to the conservative but courtly former senator whose resignation prompted the appointment of Ms. Loeffler. Both parties changed because the grassroots in both parties want more. Taken together, this has created a state that's nearing 50-50 parity and fostered a style of politics in which mobilization takes precedence over persuasion. Because the bright lines between party and region have left few Georgians up for grabs. There are very few swing voters, said Ms. Abrams, now a voting rights activist. She said that This was particularly the case in the general election runoff, when turnout typically falls, and you are trying to convince the core of your base to come back a second time in a pretty short period. Still, Ms. Abrams acknowledged that electoral trends tends to lag behind demographic changes. The demographics, though, account for much of the reason that the state has grown more politically competitive. There has been a population explosion around Atlanta thanks to an influx of Asian, African, and Hispanic immigrants, as well as a migration of native-born Americans, white and black alike, who have moved to the region because of family ties and the relatively affordable cost of living, also the expansive job opportunities. Although long identified with Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines, the city has become a corporate behemoth, home to companies like UPS and Home Depot, as well as to the American headquarters of the car makers Mercedes and Porsche. Atlanta itself has long been a mecca for African Americans, but the entire metropolitan region is now diverse, and counties that were once heavily white and solidly Republican are now multiracial bulwarks of Democratic strength. In 2000, for example, Al Gore received only 31% of the vote in Henry County, an ex-urban Atlanta community that was once dominated by farmland, including that of the former segregationist Senator Herman Talmadge. In November, Mr. Biden won almost 60% of the vote in that county. In the jurisdiction, elected a black sheriff for the first time. Wow. Miss Jordan, the state senator from Georgia, who represents a suburban Atlanta seat, said the population changes would have made Georgia more closely contested this decade, but Trump put a turbo booster on it, in large part because he energized such strong opposition among women. Sharon Smith, 59, who attended Mr. Ossoff's driving rally in Macon, said her own activism illustrated how the state had changed. Miss Smith said she was always politically liberal, but did not get involved in organizing until 2016, when Mr. Trump's election prompted her to join a progressive women's group in town. I think a lot of people were like me, Miss Smith said, and after 2016, we thought, I have to do more. I just can't sit on my hands. I have to get involved. And that energy was just stuck around. I want to be involved now. This engagement has prompted a full reversal of the old formula in which Republicans hoped their overwhelming support in the suburb in their overwhelming support in the suburbs would offset the Democrats' historical rural strength. It's a total 180 in terms of strategy, said Mr. Thurman, the DeKalb County executive, recalling the hotly contested 1980 Senate race in which political junkies stayed up late watching the Metro Atlanta returns. Except when it was so, except then it was to see if Mac Mattingly, a Republican, could claim enough votes in the region to overcome Mr. Talmadge's rural strength. 4 decades later, Georgia is close to evenly split again, but in ways that better reflect the Sun Belt better than the Old South. Jim Hobart, a Republican pollster reared in Georgia, said his home state was most politically similar to another background that Mr. Biden narrowly won, Arizona. Both have increasingly large minority populations and are dominated by one large media market, said Mr. Hobart, alluding to Greater Atlanta and Phoenix. Georgia, he added, is a purple state now. So Georgia's a purple state now. You know, it's no longer a freaking red state. I think it's an excellent article too. I mean, it's a fantastic article. I'm gonna provide a link right there in the chat. All right, guys, we're gonna take another 30-minute break. We're gonna be right back with more Pitchfork Podcast. Don't go anywhere, guys. We're gonna be back with more Pitchfork Podcast. Guys, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you're hitting the share button. Make sure you let people know that I run this podcast. We're gonna be back in 30 minutes. I'm gonna go out and walk my dog, go visit the little boy's room, get a little something to drink and refuel, so we can come back and give you more Pitchfork Podcast, guys. Don't go anywhere. The number to call in is 253-203-6784. Get a number to call in is 253-203-6784. We are going to continue to run the podcast. You're going to follow me on Twitter, Devs Advocate. You follow me on Twitch, Fuse Painter 86. You want to follow me on YouTube, Devil's Advocate. The links are going to be in the description of the particular video. I run this podcast every day at 1 p.m. Pacific or 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Call in. Make sure you call in, guys. I run this podcast for a few hours, and I do it while people are still at work and also on their way to work. And when they also get home, it's this infotainment. I want to entertain you and also give you my viewpoints, but at the same time give you the news and give you the links to the news so that you guys can look at that and you can see the stories yourself. All right, I'll be back in 30, guys. Don't go anywhere. It's been the Pitchfork Podcast with Devil's Advocate, aka Fuse Painter, aka Devil's Advocate, aka Dion McNeil. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We back. We back for more Pitchfork Podcast, man. And from what I understand, man, we getting some upset MAGA folks. Upset MAGA folks. Call in 203. That shit correct. 253-203-6784. Again, number is 253-203-6784. Call in. Stop being a bunch of bitches. Come on, MAGA. Call in. Let's hear your complaint. Tell me how you feel. Tell me how upset you are. Tell me, show me on the doll where the evil black man hurt you. Show me on the doll. When you call, I want you to tell me on the doll where I hurt you. There's no point in you just downvoting videos and just lurking. Tell me on the doll where I hurt your feelings. Come on, MAGA. Oh. Cop lovers. Call in. 253. Because if you don't call in, I'm going to end the show and I'm going to declare victory. 84. 84. Okay. There's the number right there. Okay. If not, I'll declare victory over MAGA, who are a bunch of scared cowards, and cop lovers / blue lives matter are a bunch of cowardly losers. You know, I'm calling y'all out right now. I mean, I just don't see where's the challenge there. You know, all y'all can do is just downvote stuff and then just run away. Oh my God. Sounds pretty cowardly to me. Oh my God. If I'm wrong, then call in and tell me about it. Oh no? No takers. With that being said, guys, we're gonna go ahead and end the stream. With that being said, guys, thank you for joining me for Pitchfork Podcast, guys. It's been lovely. If you want to follow me on Twitter. It's Dev's Africa. You want to follow me on Twitch, FusePainter86. YouTube's gonna be Devil's Advocate, guys. Links are gonna be in the description, guys. The Pitchfork Podcast will be run every day at 1 p.m. Pacific, also 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Number to call in is 253-203-6784. Again, the number is gonna be 253-203-6784. With that being said, guys, this has been Devil's Advocate, aka FusePainter86, aka Devil's Advocate, aka Dion McNeil. Signing out. Horns up. Peace out. Be safe out there. Wear a mask. Don't get COVID.